Hello everybody, what is up? It is your girl Afro is Massive and welcome back to episode 3 of my Dear Hair Stylists series. And today we're talking all about moisture, moisturization and moisturizing afro hair. Now this is possibly one of the most important things that we're going to be speaking about throughout this entire series. We're going to be getting onto styling and like styling ideas and and that's going to be really exciting. But the moisturization is key, is absolutely paramount for any styling of any afro hair, anytime, any place, anywhere. And it's amazing because so many hairstylists I've found still don't really get it, still don't understand the importance of moisturizing and how we need it to not only take care of our hair and nourish it, but to also, you know, be able to manipulate it into doing all the wonderful things that it can do. So first off, I want to talk about the importance of water. It is absolutely incredible how many times and how many other black performers who I've spoken to said that they sit into the stylist chair and they've instantly just taken brush to hair with zero conversation and zero moisturizing. It's crazy, 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 crazy. And if anybody does that right from the get-go, that tells us that this stylist doesn't necessarily know what they're doing here. They don't know how to take care of and how to style afro hair. Also, I should really say, if you guys want the disclaimer video, please check out episode 1 somewhere, I'll link it here. That's where I get all the disclaimers out the way so that we can, you know, have these kind of conversations together in a really kind of like open format. I think it's really important that we are able to discuss all of these things that do go down the hair industry that really aren't talked about. So we need to normalize these conversations. And you know, if you ever want to reach out to me regarding anything, please do drop me an email and I'll be happy to connect. So from the get-go, water, water, water. And there are different ways that you can do this. It also depends on kind of what you have available around you. So if you do have an actual hair washing sink, I don't know if there's an actual term for that. Hey Siri, what is a hair washing sink called? Oh, hairdresser basin. So if you have a hairdresser's basin with you that you can be using to really deeply moisturize the hair depending on what you need, you know, essentially washing it, you can do that. But if you're on set, for example, and half the time we're in pop-up tents when we're on set, and all you've got access to is spray bottles, then let's get into that. So there are two kinds of spray bottles that you can use. We have the kind of standard spray bottle, which is kind of just like a regular nozzle. This is actually an old bottle that I have. This is glass and I got it from Zara. It was actually a cleaning product. I really washed it out and now I use it for sometimes for my hair, but I really do like to reuse things. So you have spray bottles that are like this, or you could use a spray bottle that is like this. Now this I absolutely love. This is more kind of like a mister. I prefer to call this a mister because the difference between these two is that they have a very different output for the water droplets, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So what I'm showing you on here, hopefully this is going to make a lot more sense. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray this onto the palette so you can see the kind of size of the droplets that are coming out. So what you'll find with the everyday spray bottle and the nozzle that it has is that it will kind of have this output of randomly sized water droplets. And also it's a lot of hand work having to like consistently pump to get as much water out as you can. Whereas what you'll see with the mister is that it has a continuous spray, so it's a lot less work on the hand to try and coat the hair with water. And also it has an even dispersal of droplet size. You're going to get really even coverage throughout. And what you want to do when you're moisturizing is to saturate the hair. It's so important to ensure that you're getting as much water into the cuticle as possible. So it's really not enough to just do a single spray and then start brushing, which is what's happened to me and so many other girls so many times. So let's say the stylist has gone to my hair without a brush and I say, oh, okay, are you planning on moisturizing my hair at all before you start brushing? And they say, oh yeah, okay. They'll get a water spray bottle, typically it'll be this one, and they'll go and then brush. Absolutely no. Because what that process is then lacking is the actual massaging into the hair cuticle. So in the same way, for example, that let's say, you know, you washed your hands with soap without any water, so you just put, you know, soap onto your hand, rubbed it in and then walked away, that is not going to clean your hands. In the same way, just putting water, spraying water onto the hair and then going to brush, that is not deeply moisturizing the hair. It's just water droplets sitting on top, and it hasn't actually penetrated the cuticle to make it more malleable. Does that make sense? So what you need to do is actually massage it into the hair, and I'm actually going to do a little demonstration for you now. So you can see my hair is in its absolute driest form, and personally this is how I feel at my most organic and my most true self and my most sexy. You know, not all hair is shiny and silky. My hair is very, very matte, and I love it when it's in this natural kind of matte form. My hair is naturally dry, and I have to love this texture, and you also have to love dry hair textures as well, because that's what they are. And it's understanding how you can then use water and use moisturization to get the hair to do what it is what you want it to do, how to style it in the best possible way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a section of hair here. Why don't I actually take maybe an underneath section so you can see it. So hopefully you guys can see this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spray bottle and ensure, even for a section this small, I'm going to ensure that it is fully coated. Now our hair is not like Caucasian hair at all, and when you moisturize it, there's never too much water, because our hair can actually dry incredibly quickly. So you're always better off doing more water than less. And what you can see here that I'm doing is I'm just massaging the water into the hair. Now you don't have to do this, you know, section by section throughout the whole head. You're going to be there all day. So what you want to do is actually, you know, do this across the whole head. Maybe do it in sections of 4, or maybe half and half. When I moisturize my hair kind of on a day-to-day basis, I will literally just go one half and then the other half, but just ensure that the hair is pretty sopping, and just continue to moisturize. Feel free to do a bit of raking so that you can separate the curls nice and gently without the need of a brush or a comb, therefore having less manipulation. And then what you're doing is you can start to see the curls start to have its spring. It's going to start to reactivate and have its lift. Some people tend to do like a squeezing motion. I kind of do a massage and a squeeze as well, but I'll tend to squeeze more once I've got the conditioner or the, you know, the secondary moisturizer on my hair. Okay, so that's literally just putting water in, and you've seen that activation there. Really, really lovely. I would really urge you not to do this kind of crunching motion. I've had stylists who work on me before do this, and all that's doing is potentially damaging the end of the hair, as well as, you know, it's not really moisturizing the water into the cuticle, and it also increases tangling as well at the ends of the hair, which are very prone, because my ends tend to be quite brittle. So they're the ones that's the area that's going to have a lot more breakage when eventually we start to do detangling. So as much as you can, rake, squeeze, pull, whatever it is, try not to crunch and scrunch, okay? And if you want to continue getting more of that lift, this kind of plopping, this kind of pushing up of the hair will allow it to kind of find a bit more spring. But this is literally just water. We haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. Okay, so you've applied the water, and then what you need to do is actually apply a conditioner. So no, water is not enough by itself, because as soon as the hair dries, the water has kind of evaporated out of the cuticle and is no longer present, it's no longer doing the work, it's no longer moisturizing. So what we need to do is actually lock in this moisture. So what we then use are different creams, different products, in order to further deepen that moisturization process. So, massive disclaimer, what I want to say, guys, so really, really important, any creams, any moisturizers that you are using are not enough by themselves, okay? In the same way that, okay, maybe you want to go into the shower and shampoo your hair, you would never shampoo your hair dry and say, great, my hair is clean. You would use water first to then activate the shampoo to make it work. Does that make sense? So please, before you use any moisturizers on Afro hair, use water first. You've got to use water first, okay? So that it can then activate the product, that it will work more effectively and more efficiently. And I also want to talk about the different types of moisturizers that are out there as well. If you see maybe just, you know, leave-in conditioner, that's going to do something very different to like a moisturizing hairspray, for example. They have different tasks and different roles, and I'm going to kind of go through them now with you. So it's really important, you know, before you even start working on the hair, is to understand what is the point of this moisturizing that you're doing for the style. Are you moisturizing to refresh the hair? Are you moisturizing it in order to prime it for styling? Are you moisturizing it for curl activation? Are you moisturizing for detangling? Or are you moisturizing it in preparation for a protective style? All of those areas require different things and different products. And when we're talking about moisturizing products, it's really, really important to ensure that you're taking a look at what is on the market in its entirety. I think when I go onto set a lot of the time, if stylists do have products that are for Afro hair, a lot of the time it's gonna be this, oars. And even though oars are great, depending on what it is that you need, I want to let you guys know that there are so many other beautiful brands, beautiful Afro hair care brands that you can be using, and be really proud of having them in your arsenal. In the same way that makeup artists are so proud to have MAC or Anastasia Beverly Hills or whatever, or Bobbi Brown in their kit. Be really proud that you've got these kind of more niche and more specialized Afro hair care products that so that you come across in the best possible way, so that you're best equipped for that job of styling that Afro hair. Does that kind of make sense? So first of all, let's talk about moisturization for refreshing. So let's say, for example, I want to just refresh my hair. I've just woken up and I want to do like very low maintenance hairstyling for the day, and I just want to refresh my curls and make them pop a little bit more. I will use a moisturizing hair spray. So I will do my moisturizing with water, make sure that the hair is saturated, and then I will use hairsprays, okay? Bearing in mind also I have very, very kinky hair. I find that this works for me. This may not work for other people, so always remember to ask the right questions and see what people are comfortable with using, what they're most likely to use. You'll get a really good idea once you have the conversation with them. So the ones that I use for refreshing my curls is the Afrocenchix Sheen. Afrocenchix are a beautiful, beautiful brand. They are BOB owned by two lovely ladies, and their products are absolutely stunning. They smell amazing. So if you're going to have any products within your hairstyling kit, absolutely Afrocenchix, got to be done. Or I will also use the Palmer's Natural Fusions Mallow Root Leave-In Conditioner. This is a spray, and again, this is really fantastic. Smells absolutely stunning, and definitely a lovely one to have in your kit. So what I would then do is give it a shake and make sure, again, this is adding another layer of water, but it's also got some incredible ingredients in here as well that really help with curl activation. I will rake and smooth and pull and kind of do this massaging, again, work through a few of the tangles, and especially the ends. And also when I'm going through my ends, I will also do this kind of motion here. It's almost like curl activation motion, where I'm just twisting it in my fingers. So that is for refreshing, just giving the hair a general bit of nourishment in a really low maintenance way. Now, one of the things that I think is really overlooked is moisturization as priming the hair for curl activation, or priming the hair for a particular style. So in the same way that, for example, we use a base for our makeup, a primer, before we actually start to apply foundations and other things, I really do feel like the same should be done for Afro hair. And when I'm doing my own priming, I actively use the Afrocenchix Smooth Moisturizing Hair Cream. This is fantastic as a base. I find it really, really complements other products. If I'm doing layering to really make my curls pop, I will always use this as a nourishing, moisturizing base before I start to apply curl activators. Does that make sense? So I'm going to take actually another section of hair for you so you can kind of see. Okay, so I'm just going to take this section of hair, which again is completely dry. I'm going to use my spray bottle and saturate. And I'm just going to massage this water. I'm going to massage this water into my hair and really gently detangle at the same time. And then I'm going to take this moisturizing hair cream and apply liberally. If anything ever says in the same way like pea-size amount, no, no, no. More is more at the end of the day. And again, look, you can see the way that I'm really massaging this over and over. I love having this kind of motion to really work that conditioner into the cuticle. Wow. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Gorgeous. Saying that about my hair, I would love to do this on somebody else's hair. Maybe I need a model to do this on so I can demo. But I just love the way that these products work. Absolutely stunning. Really, really gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that spring, look at that curl pattern. Sheesh, okay? So, all of that just from a little bit of moisturizing. And then what I would do, this is just my primer, okay? And then what I will do is then I will layer with a curl activator. It's really important to understand, you know, when you have a moisturizer, which is very much focused on nourishing the hair, compared to then using products that are curl creams and curl activators to make the curls pop. So I would always recommend layering a conditioner and then a curling cream or a curling lotion. So this one that I'm using here is the Curl Company. You can actually get these in Boots, I believe, or Superdrugs. They're really, really accessible. And just using something like this then on the applied area, and then using this on the applied area that you have just been priming. And then what I would do is then take it section by section and just swizzle. You're gonna get these natural sections that come out, and just swizzle the hair so it creates its own little curl. And that is how you use the curl activator. So it's not about just applying the product and hoping for the best. You know, you really need to... Okay, so sorry, my battery died and then I had a delivery. So new addition to this video. So my hair's actually had a little bit of time to dry because I was building this thing whilst I was waiting for my camera to charge up again. And you can see here, now that it has actually, it's still a tiny, tiny bit damp. You can see there's still a lot of moisture in there, but you can see that the curl is just really, really still holding in a really nice way. And if we want to compare that to what we're seeing on this side with my kind of primer, quote unquote primer, is that we have had this spring. Again, this has also dried a bit as well. So we've had our shrinkage, and we know that with Afro hair, it won't stay long when it's wet. It will shrink, it will activate the curl, and it will shrink up. So I have about a 50% shrinkage rate. My hair is quite long. So just be aware that when you're moisturizing hair and then you let it dry, it will shrink, it will get smaller. Really important to remember when you're styling Afro hair for maybe an outdoor shoot or a rain scene, if the hair is manipulated in a way that isn't protected from the rain, and then it rains or you're doing a rain shoot, that hair is then going to curl and shrink. Does that make sense? So just be aware when you're styling the hair. So just be aware when you're styling Afro hair, what are the conditions going to be on the shoot date? And just really bear that in mind. There's actually a time when I was working on a job and they'd actually put some additional kinky hair into somebody's hair, and we were doing a rain shoot that day. And, you know, she actually said to the hairstylist, you know, my hair is going to shrink. But they didn't quite understand what she meant by that. They actually didn't believe her as well, but I don't understand why, because she was saying to them, you know, my hair is going to shrink, so when my hair shrinks in the rain and this hair is going to be long, it's going to look very odd. But they kind of dismissed her for being difficult, and actually ended up speaking to one of the directors about it, which is really, really scary, upsetting, damaging for potentially somebody's career, when they were just giving the, you know, the necessary information to maintain the hairstyle. So they completely dismissed her, and then the rain happened and they were instantly like, this isn't right, this isn't good. They had to do massive damage control because they didn't listen to what the performer said during the styling process. So this is why I really say that it's so important to listen to the person. If they're giving you information, it's for a reason. And I think this whole thing of dismissing Black performers and saying that they're being difficult, this is so prevalent within the film industry. It's quite disturbing, and there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of subconscious bias. Yeah, we're not going to go too much into that. But anyways, so what you can see here, you know, we've had our spring, and this is with the priming product, okay? And this is with our curl activator. So actually the curls on this side have managed to hold a lot better. They've still managed to retain their length. That's because they've got quite a bit of weight on it. This activator has a bit of weight to it, which causes the curl to kind of hold a little bit more. Does that make sense? So that, for example, is a curling cream. And I want to just talk about the textures of these products. So that one was the Curl Company. One that I really do recommend is the Luster's BU Natural range. I'm going to be linking all of the products that I'm using in the description box so that you guys can actually buy these, test these, and, you know, choose which of your favorite products that you want to have in your arsenal. I'm just going to show you the textures here so that I can show you the difference between maybe a moisturizing lotion and a curling creme. So for example, here we've also got the Cantu Shea Butter Leave-In Conditioning Repair Cream. So this is fantastic again. So personally, I wouldn't use this product for priming. I would use this as a preparation for a protective style because it's deeply nourishing and it's, you know, a leave-in conditioner. So it's gonna help with slip, it's gonna help with detangling, and it's going to, you know, be extra nourishing for the protective style. So I just wanna show you guys the texture of these kind of curling cremes. What I'm gonna do is I'm just going to take a little bit out. So what you can see is that they're very thick, but they're not oily in texture. So they're really easy to manipulate and disperse around the hair. And what you can do as well is use stuff like this. And if we compare this texture to a primer, for example, so you can see here that the texture of these primers are actually a bit more matte and a lot less jelly, whereas these have a bit more of a matte texture. We want to remember that we are still being COVID friendly. So what I find is really great is when you know, dish out the product rather than going hair, hand into product. That's, you know, not very sanitary. Dish the product out into a container, whatever it is that you're using, and then use the brush to apply across the strands, for example. So let's say if I wanted to apply this product to this area, I would just take this area of hair, brush it along the hair, and then use my hands to manipulate. Does that make sense? So you're having a lot less cross-contamination, okay? And if you find that as you're styling the hair actually dries, because our hair dries very, very quickly, and also depending on if you've got heaters blowing in the room and stuff, our hair is going to dry quite quickly. Please do not get frustrated and just think, okay, we need to just re-moisturize this again. The more layers and the more water you can put on there, you know, there's never too much. More is always more. If it ever starts to dry out, do not become frustrated. Just add more water, more layers of more moisturizing. Simple as that, okay? It's just a matter of reactivating the curl. And of course, as I said earlier, moisturizing for protective styling. So say, for example, if you need to braid somebody's hair back to apply wigs and things, it's knowing how you're gonna moisturize that hair and what products you're gonna be using to ensure that it's nourished and kept healthy whilst it's being manipulated and then held in that style for a period of time. So what you may want to do is, you know, for example, when you're doing protective styling, maybe you're doing braids and things like that, moisturize like as in water, then potentially use a primer so you have a nourishing base, and then use something with a lot of slip to give you that really nice kind of detangling experience. And then what you can use on top of that, maybe afterwards, is a leave-in conditioner, which you can apply liberally or not, depending on, you know, what the person prefers, but it will really give that long-term lasting nourishment that it might need. Also, I want you to be very mindful of the ingredients. If the first ingredient is not water, then you should not be using it to moisturize, okay? The first ingredient is always the largest component within the product, and you want water to be the first thing on this product ingredient list, okay? Another primer which is really fantastic is also the Shea Moisture range. They've got a fantastic collection, so I would really advise checking out their whole range that they've got. There's also Miele Organics, Bouclem. There are some incredible companies that you can be buying from, so make sure you know, buy complete kits, test them out, you know, get to understand the textures, feel the textures, really get to learn, you know, how what is their spread like, how easy is it to spread amongst the curls and to saturate. All of this stuff is really important so that you know which product's going to be best for you when you're styling afro hair, okay? And then we need to think about moisturizing for detangling. So for example, this Afrocenchix moisturizing hair cream is also a fantastic detangler, really great to use. But there are also some companies that do fantastic detanglers. Try to avoid using things that have silicones and parabens, and please do not use like curling creams as detanglers. You know, curling lotions and creams, they're great, they've got a lovely texture, but they are not detanglers. They don't guarantee that slip. Does that make sense? Curling creams and lotions are guaranteed to give hold over a longer period of time, not detangle. So you want to look for things that actively say for detangling, because they are designed to give slip for afro hair. So companies that are fantastic at this are Aunt Jackie's. Aunt Jackie's have some really beautiful, really jelly, juicy products for detangling, as do Bouclem's. And I'll be linking those so you guys can have those as part of your kit. So what I'm gonna do now for you guys is really finish up moisturizing my hair. So I'm just gonna do a really quick and simple moisturize. I'm going to do a kind of curl activating moisturization. So I'm gonna be using water, I'm going to be using this as my primer, and then I'm gonna be using a curl cream. Actually, I probably won't use that one. I'll use a different curl cream to activate my curls, and then I will just be finishing off. And we'll talk about oils and gels in a separate video, okay? Okay, sorry guys, my battery died. I need to get a new charger because my battery is hardly holding any charge. I've moisturized my hair and I have not sealed using an oil, and I have not used a holding gel. So this is purely water and conditioner and activating curling cream. And what I do is I like to do what in makeup would refer to as a bake. So I put my hair into twists to give it time to set, to allow the product to do their thing without it drying out too quickly. So when I put my hair into 2 twists like that, yes, it does give it a little bit of stretch, which I really, really like as well. So if you can kind of see that, my curls have activated really, really nicely, and it's just kind of revealing the natural shape of my hair. So this is a fantastic place to start in terms of the moisturizing process before you actually go into the styling. So all of this that we talked about in this video today is totally about prep for the actual styling of the afro. Does that make sense? And again, like I said, we'll go into gels and oils in a separate video because it's a whole other kettle of fish, okay? I really, really enjoy kind of baking my hair and letting it set in those twists, because it just gives time for the conditioners and everything and the water to really penetrate and do its thing. I think we just have to think of it in the same way like we would makeup. You know, sometimes it's not instantaneous, sometimes things just need a little bit of time to set. You know, which is why I say, if you know that you've got, you know, black girls with afro hair, textured hair coming onto set that day, allow the time, allocate the time for styling, you know, because I think hairstylists sometimes they say, okay, we've got half an hour to do this style, and I'm like, this is going to take 2 hours. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you know you've got that texture coming in that day, then you need to allocate the time for it, because all of this is a process. This is just the prep for the actual styling. As we've said in our disclaimer video, you know, my hair is not the common denominator for all afro hair. So the way that my hair reacts to these moisturizers in this routine will be different to the way that other people's hair will react to the same products. So just bear that in mind, okay? Super soft, super moisturized. You can still feel the water in there. It feels kind of cool to the touch, which tells you that there is still moisture within these curls. That's what you want. You never want hair to be exactly dry to start styling. Always you need slip, you need moisture in here. And yeah, she's ready for styling. So I hope you guys found this video helpful and useful today. If you guys feel like I've missed out on anything, please do let me know. Hit me up in the comment section down below. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series so far. This is episode 3. We've got many, many more to get through together, so I'm really excited. So yeah, that's it from me for today, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.